Hey, welcome back to the Common Ground North Dakota podcast. I'm Heather.
And I'm Jen.
I've been a chef for 10 years.
And I'm a registered dietitian. We've all heard the saying, farm to table. But what if the conversation was table to farm?
Join Jen and I as we sit down with ag experts to dig in and find out more about North Dakota agriculture. Hi, welcome back to Common Ground North Dakota podcast, your resource for food and farming questions. I'm Heather.
I'm Jen.
And we're here to chat again. Welcome back. How have you been?
Good.
Yes.
Good. Yeah.
So yesterday was supposed to be the luckiest day of the year. Did you know this?
No. Is that why we're wearing green?
Yes,
Is that supposed to be like a lucky color?
Did you experience lots of luck yesterday?
I feel like I was on the struggle bus
I
a little
know.
bit yesterday. I wouldn't say that it was lucky.
I didn't read it until the end of the day, and I read it. And I'm like, I had like a pretty tough. I accidentally sprayed gas all over myself yesterday.
Oh no!
I guess I didn't like combust into flames, so maybe it was a lucky day. But you had a tough day too, so maybe
it was just like scheduling and like running from one place to another, and then we only had one car, and my son was supposed to be somewhere else, and his coach was texting me, and I had no idea what was going on. I needed somebody to like manage my schedule.
Yeah. Yes, an assistant.
I mean, so maybe it was lucky that I made it through the day.
Okay. All right. That's a good way to look at it.
Oh my gosh. So today we're talking about biofuel.
I'm excited. I have a lot of questions.
I know.
Because I don't really understand it.
It seems like bionic power,
superhero
stuff,
sci-fi,
doesn't it? Biofuels, right?
Well, we have an expert here.
We do.
Yes, thank goodness.
Yeah. So Marla, thanks for coming. And you work for BBI, correct?
I work for BBI International here in Grand Forks. Yep.
Awesome. So can you tell us a little bit more about what is BBI?
Sure. BBI International has been around for 35 plus years.
Wow.
And they have been publishing magazines and putting on trade shows, starting mainly in the ethanol industry, but have expanded to a lot of different categories, as you can see.
Wow. Yeah, we have all these magazines here.
Living in the biofuels world.
35 years. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So who started BBI?
BBI was started by Mike and Kathy Bryan, who are based here in Grand Forks. And now their sons, Joe and Tom Bryan, are the CEO and president.
Okay. Wow. Well, confession, I know Tom. He's a friend.
Yes.
Okay.
And I've heard about the business and the company, and I still don't understand it. So I'm really happy you're here.
Yeah.
So now I can finally understand.
Yes.
So you guys do the magazines.
Correct.
And so who are these getting sent to?
So the magazines are mainly written for people who are producing fuels.
Okay.
Is the easiest way to put that. So if you work for an ethanol plant, you're going to learn a lot by picking up our magazine. What are the newest technologies? How are people creating efficiencies? Same with pellets and biodiesel.
Okay.
Sustainable aviation fuel, which we'll talk a little bit about
that's
today.
exciting.
Gosh.
And our newest publication, SAF Magazine, and also Carbon Capture Magazine.
Wow.
Both launched within the last year.
You cover a lot. And so are
That's
these
amazing.
getting sent all over the United States, or where do they go?
All over the world.
All over the world.
So
World impact again.
yes.
Yeah.
We're hearing that North Dakota has a big impact on the
Right.
world. And now we're hearing this for biofuels. And you mentioned you started with ethanol, but now have expanded to other biofuels. So what is a biofuel for our
Break
listeners?
it down. And for me.
Us.
So most people, when they think about biofuel, they think about ethanol or biodiesel. Those are probably the two most common and the most well-known, or most used in the United States. But biofuel can be just about anything that's created from organic material.
Okay.
And not just liquids, but we talk about gases and solids as well. So you can see across our spread here, we have Pellet Mill Magazine.
Oh, yeah.
That
This
is
one.
Pellet mill.
So you're creating pellets to burn for energy.
Oh.
We also, gas is another type of biofuel.
Okay.
So most of that comes from renewable natural gas, or RNG. RNG is collected from landfills. It's also collected from manure.
Wait a second. How did they do that? How can you collect that? That's amazing.
The tool they use is called an anaerobic digester.
Oh my gosh. So sounds like biochemistry.
It just rolls off the tongue,
right?
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
But most people are most familiar with ethanol, which is most commonly created from corn.
Right.
And biodiesel, which is created from oil seeds, soybean oil.
Okay.
And there's been a interest in renewable diesel, which is refined more like a traditional oil would be.
Okay. So things are always changing, and that's why we have you, is you're letting people know what's going on in the industry, what's new.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And technology, it sounds like you mentioned with the air fuel, like fueling airlines with biodiesel.
Yes.
Is that happening yet, or it's on the horizon?
It's on the horizon.
Okay.
So you may have heard that airlines are talking about 2025 as their goal. So there's a lot of different ethanol plants now that are using their co-products to create a sustainable aviation fuel with buy-in from different airlines, including Delta and Southwest.
Oh, great.
Oh gosh.
So will that mean my airline tickets will be cheaper because the fuel will be cheaper?
We can travel more. Maybe.
Let's hope.
I wish we had control over that.
Oh, wow. So do you feel, why North Dakota? What's the connection here? Is it because we're an agricultural state and the corn's being grown here, or why here?
So I think that is a big part of it. North Dakota does have 6 ethanol plants within the state. Only one biodiesel plant.
Okay.
But probably one of the newest biofuel facilities here would be the renewable diesel facility that was purchased by Marathon in 2021.
Okay.
It's an old oil refinery that they're converting to make renewable diesel.
Wow, renewable
That's
diesel.
Cool.
Yes. And another thing that's interesting about that is Marathon also bought in, and they are going to be converting a plant into a soybean oil crushing facility. So farmers will actually have a place to take their soybeans here to start the process of becoming biodiesel.
Oh, wow.
Great.
So then the transportation, they don't have to export them or send them far away. It'll be more close to home, which is
That's great.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great.
wow. So what got you involved in this industry? Are you from North Dakota?
I am. I grew up in Drayton, North Dakota.
Okay.
So I'm obviously very familiar with farmers. My dad worked for a sunflower processing plant.
Oh,
so
wow.
That was kind of our world, was sunflowers. And both my mom and dad grew up on farms, but I'm more of a city girl. I always say I'm a city girl from a small town. But as far as BBI, I've been there for 15 years, and I really honestly didn't know what I was getting into. I just thought it sounded kind of cool. Oh, magazines,
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot.
I bet 15 years is a long time. So have you seen a lot change within the industry during that time too?
So much has changed. And that's the thing about biofuels, I think, is that the people that are creating biofuels, why do we create biofuels?
Mm-hmm.
It's because we want a better planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're constantly looking at new ways to create fuels. They're looking at efficiencies. They're looking at how can we make the air cleaner.
All good things.
So it's constantly changing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I see the carbon footprint and stuff. I remember learning about that in college, ages ago. But I feel like that's becoming more
more of a topic.
Interesting to people. And how are we affecting the planet, like you said?
So one of the things that a lot of people don't know is when a plant creates ethanol, they also create co-products so there's not waste.
Okay.
One of the big co-products is animal feed. They call it distiller's grains. It's high protein animal feed.
Oh.
That's leftover from the fermenting of the corn to create the alcohol. And then they also have carbon dioxide. That is another co-product, super pure. So plants are actually starting to capture that carbon, that carbon dioxide, and they're selling it. So your biofuels are also putting the bubbles in your soda.
Oh,
and
really?
they're also used to make dry ice.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And they're feeding livestock.
Yes.
And high protein.
I know.
Like
Can I get some of that?
I'm like, okay, do we have animals on high protein diets now? Yes.
Yes,
like
we do.
Animal nutrition is very important, just like human nutrition. So I bet that is appealing to livestock.
Correct.
Producers and ranchers in the area as well. So you're benefiting not only the environment, but also other industries, it seems like, with biofuels, which is fascinating. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
I look at the Pellet Mill magazine here, and I think of my pellet grill.
Yes.
Are those the pellets that I use in my pellet grill?
Yes.
Really?
That's awesome. And there's different flavors.
So can you get like a smoky flavor?
Yeah, like, and I love on the bags that it says like, this is made with blah, blah, like, and it's good for these types of meats. I mean, I don't know. I just follow the bag. I'm not a chef like Heather here, but it's kind of fun. And like, I feel like it's just a more popular way to cook. Like there's more pellet grills coming on the market.
Yeah, you see them all the time now.
Right. High heat, long burning.
Yes.
So that makes it very popular. And a lot of the pellets that are created come from, a lot of people say, are you cutting down trees? No, a lot of it comes from your forest maintenance. When you saw the fires in California and everything, and they say, well, if we clear that brush, and kind of clear some of that out, it'll help prevent the spread of fires.
Okay.
They take that brush and that's what they...
that's what they're using.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you look at if a tornado comes through and tears down all these trees, what are we doing with all of these trees?
Yeah.
Let's turn it into energy.
Okay.
So...
Not cutting down trees. You're using ones that have...
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Wow.
Right. So what misconceptions do you think are out there about biofuels?
I think the biggest debate has always been food versus fuel, correct?
Sure. Yeah. Because it's taking up the farmland. And
Yes. And I mean, obviously they're using corn to make fuel. So there is to be said. But like I said, they're using feed corn. It's not the sweet corn you go and buy at the farmer's market. It's feed corn. And they're taking those co-products, right? And that's what they're giving that high protein animal feed to. So they're actually removing a lot of the carbohydrates and the filler stuff that's not as good for your livestock.
Okay.
And they're still getting a high protein meal out of it.
Wow.
And ethanol.
Well, and I bet the meat tastes better, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, it all depends on what you're feeding.
Right?
Right.
I mean,
we'll have to test that out.
I know.
We'll do a taste test.
Yeah.
We'll cook the steaks on a pellet grill, right? And then we'll test it.
This animal has been fed high protein.
Right.
This has not.
Right.
There's nutritional differences too with like grass-fed versus corn-fed versus,
And you would think the high
animals.
protein would help with the nutrition content, right?
Yeah, it's protein is a building block of life.
Right.
It's not necessarily a ton of energy, but that's what they need to put on like the muscle mass and like the mass. So
it's really nice to have Jenn here. She tells us.
Right.
She
I don't
lets
know.
us know.
That's I get maybe too far down the nutrition. I'm like, oh yeah, and then I'm thinking of like all the healthy oils that Marla is talking about, plant-based oils, and and how I use those like to educate people on like just health benefits of it. So I mean it's very versatile, obviously.
Yeah, the versatility is amazing. That it's used for so many things. Anything in the future that they're working on now?
I think, well, obviously, SAF is going to be the big thing that everyone's focusing on. That's the big topic.
An SAF.
Tell us.
Sustainable aviation fuel.
Oh, okay. We're abbreviating now. Okay.
Sorry.
SAF.
Sorry, we live in
that's a really big deal, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And obviously renewable natural gas as well is another big thing that is on the horizon.
Well, and if companies like Marathon are investing in this, they must really believe in it.
Right. So that's one of the things I think that a lot of people are also misinformed about.
Okay.
They think it's your oil companies versus your biofuel companies. Like they're competing against each other, but actually they work a lot hand in hand.
Okay.
I mean, one can't exist without the other.
Sure.
So
we need both.
So they partner. Would you describe it as like, okay, what market are you targeting? And there's different markets for both of them. Correct. Is that how you would describe it?
Well, you know, when you go to the gas pump and you're going to put fuel in, it's at least 10% ethanol. They're actually working on, and it might be passed now, and I'm sorry, I'm not the best policy person, but E15 year round. So going from E10 to E15 in your fuel. So that'll help lower the price of your fuel.
I always get the ethanol. Like that's what I sprayed all over myself yesterday was the ethanol gas because it's cheaper.
Whoops.
Right. It is.
Right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. And biodiesel is the same way. So I think that here in the colder climates, there's some issues with thickness. So B10 is usually what you'll see when you fill up with biodiesel.
Okay.
So they work together, and companies like Marathon that are buying into renewable diesel and taking these old oil refineries that are just sitting there empty and converting them so that they can make renewable diesel.
Yeah, just reusing.
Right.
So where is that in North Dakota, the one you were talking about?
Okay, I'm going to have to look at my notes because I'm going to say wrong. Let's see here. It is in Velva.
Oh, Velva.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Is that where Dot's Pretzels from?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, they're just blowing up in Velva.
Oh my gosh.
That's another road trip, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So
add it to the list.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. The biodiesel plant is near Velva and the renewable diesel plant is near Dickinson.
Okay.
Yes.
And so is there a lot of those or is this one of the first?
There are, we do publish a plant list and I believe there's about 15 renewable diesel plants.
So not a lot.
In the United States?
In the United States.
Okay, so like there's 50 states and only 15 of these plants?
Right.
Not very many.
We do publish maps that basically track like all of the pellet facilities, all of the biomass power facilities, biodiesel facilities, ethanol facilities. And you'll see like with the ethanol, especially that the concentration of the ethanol plants are all in the Midwest because the ethanol industry relies so heavily on farmers.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Interesting.
So many things to think about.
I know.
Right?
I know, but you're teaching us. This is good. This is the most I've ever felt like I understood about this subject.
Same.
Well, we'll leave you all this reading material and there'll be a quiz next week. Okay.
And beyond the information, these are beautiful magazines.
They are.
Yeah.
Do you guys do all this in-house?
We do. Yes.
It's gorgeous.
We have our own writing staff. We have our own marketing staff, our own designers.
Wow.
And then we print out of Minnesota.
Okay. And then you do conventions as well, right?
Correct. Okay. So we do about 6 different shows a year, and they are all over the U.S. We had our biomass show in March. That was in Atlanta, which I have to say going to Atlanta in March was lovely.
I'm sure.
Feel the warmth.
Right. So our next show coming up is going to be in June in Omaha, and that is our International Fuel Ethanol Workshop.
Okay.
It is our largest show and it's our longest running. So we're on our 39th year this year with that show. And we'll have about 3,000 people, 350 exhibitors. So it is our largest show and it's all about the ethanol industry.
Okay.
We're also have some co-located events that are happening there talking about renewable diesel, sustainable aviation fuel, carbon capture. And then we have an ethanol 101 class. So if you guys are really interesting, you can come and learn all about ethanol.
Wow. front row.
I know. Right. We'll be there with the notebooks, like writing.
And Omaha is a beautiful city. It's a good reason to go there.
My sister lives there, so I love to visit Omaha. So that could, and you said you're in June.
Yes.
Have a place to stay.
Yeah.
So you guys are a huge resource for all these people that are in the industry. Because is there anyone else like you out there?
There's a few, but, we don't really have any direct competitors as far as our magazine publications go. There are other shows. There's a lot of different shows and a lot of them, you look at like our biomass magazine and our biomass conference. So talking about biofuels and how biofuels is so it's hard to define because there's so many. Even within the biomass industry, there's biogas, there's renewable natural gas, there's pellets, there's biomass power, there's thermal power. So there's a lot of different industries that go in there. So then you have other companies that do shows that are specifically about exporting the pellets because pellets are a big deal in Europe right now, probably bigger than the US.
Okay.
There's a show that talks about specifically biogas.
Okay.
So there are, but we all work together and because we all have the same goal, right? We want biofuels to be successul.
Yeah.
So
wow.
It's great. Are we ready for our host halftime? Are you ready?
I think I've absorbed some information here.
This one I'm a little nervous about. But you gave us lots of good information. I feel like you prepared us.
Okay. You did.
So this is our trophy.
I love it.
Here it is. And all of its
there you are,
glory.
Heather. We got our little whiteboards here that we will. So you ask us a question.
All right.
And we'll each write an answer and then show you. And then we'll tell our listeners what we chose. And you can see who guessed right.
Or is the closest.
Or is the closest.
All right. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit about the things we've covered, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'll start you off easy. How many ethanol plants are in North Dakota?
Oh my God.
5?
I said 15, but that's the whole United States.
There are 6.
Oh, shoot. So Jenn gets
I feel like I'm starting out good already.
Jenn gets it. Okay.
Okay, next question, Marla.
Okay. What year are airlines hoping to have sustainable aviation fuel?
I remember
in their
this because
jets?
I've already planned a trip.
Oh, you are both
2025?
You are both correct.
Yes.
That's not that far away.
No, it's not. I feel like it goes really fast.
Yes.
Maybe it's just because I'm getting older. I don't know.
It does go fast.
Name a co-product of ethanol.
Lots of words here, Marla. Lots of words.
Animal feed?
Oh, you guys
High
are
protein animal feed.
Oh, that was good. She was very specific.
What do you think? I think, Heather.
You got it. Congratulations.
I'm redeeming
good
myself.
job.
Okay, so funny story. Heather has won this like how many times in a row?
don't know.
It's been a lot.
It was
been a lot.
It was a fluke. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. My trivia was not
you're
so
back.
good.
You're
But
back.
I'm back.
Okay, good questions.
Trophy. I mean, I feel like this fits like with biofuels too,
Right.
with the corn.
It does.
Like, you
Yes.
know, I feel like it's just
good.
very timely.
Well,
Awesome.
see, we retained a lot of the information.
did.
You did. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Now we can share that information, and hopefully our listeners can now share the information about biofuels and what they understand about it. So I feel like that's important knowledge to share and how it contributes to North Dakota agriculture and even just the impact on the world.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So fascinating.
Yes.
We so appreciate you coming in.
Yes, thank you. If we have any follow-up questions, can we reach out?
Sure. Absolutely.
And if I'm in Omaha in June. I love it.
And if people want to learn more about ethanol or biodiesel, we do have websites, ethanolproducer.com or biodieselmagazine.com.
Oh, great.
Awesome.
We actually have websites for all of them, but
Wow.
since that's what we were mostly talking about, that's where I'll
You guys do
direct
it all.
people. Yeah, we try.
And I think we have one final question that we like to ask our guests is what's your favorite part about being a part of North Dakota agriculture?
So, I was thinking about this, and I think it's hard to be in North Dakota and do any job without working in agriculture. You think about like your bankers are going to be helping farmers and nutritionists and chefs. I know we've talked about how you work with local farmers. I think that the people are amazing, and that's what I enjoy the most. And then being able to share this part of agriculture and how this is so important to the world as a whole, and how much of that happens right here in North Dakota.
Yeah.
So
something to be proud of.
Something like 40% of all of the corn raised in North Dakota and 30% of all the soybeans are turned into fuel.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Such an impact.
Yes. Good answer.
Yes. I love it. I love it. And it all comes back down to the people. Like
Doesn't it? And the connection.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, thank you to our listeners for tuning in today. And you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yes. And we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in to the Common Ground North Dakota podcast. Make sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Most importantly, send us your questions about North Dakota agriculture by visiting our website. You might win a prize. We'll see you in the next episode of the Common Ground North Dakota podcast.